Hello, everybody. This is Coach Jackie Zach, and I'm excited to have Kent Weiss Solberg from Solberg Design with us today. Welcome, Ken.
Thanks. Good to be
Thank
here.
you. So Ken has 30 years of experience practicing industrial design with corporate contract consulting and teaching environments. Ken has gained a wide range of experience in design from concept development to brand management through engineering integration to manufactured product. These experiences allow him to bring innovation to companies large and small. Solberg Design is an industrial design firm that epitomizes design excellence, shaping enduring solutions that elevate businesses and captivate minds. So something unique about Ken is he's had a mobile bike repair shop, which I think is so cool, especially since it's bike season. One of your favorite things to do in your downtime is to practice Buddhism because it's very reflective and rejuvenating. And something you're most proud of, which I love, is your two daughters, ages 21 and 25. So welcome, Ken. Kent.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell us a bit about a little bit more about your company.
A little bit more about my company. Solberg Design is, we practice with a range of sizes of business. We work particularly currently with a number of entrepreneurs. Sometimes they're not even funded, and we're helping them get to a point where they can get funding, up to multi-billion-dollar multinational corporations. Stellantis and CNH would be an example of just a ginormous company that we've helped out. So it's quite a range, and it's probably 40% local, within the Milwaukee, Chicago area, and then we've got clients all over the United States, from MIT off to, I'm trying to think of one on the West Coast right now. We've got a startup in San Diego, so we're covering the country.
Fabulous. So tell us a little bit about your personal story.
Sure. I was born in 1968 in Omaha, Nebraska. It only took me 3 years to decide I wanted to leave, and I left for Racine, Wisconsin with my parents. Grew up in Racine, graduated from Case High School in 1986, attended the Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design, graduated with my BFA in ID in 1990. One older sister. Mom and dad are 85 and 89 and still going strong.
Awesome.
And two daughters you had mentioned, 21 and 25. The older is in Chicago, and the younger one is attending Lawrence University in Appleton.
Oh, wow. That's fabulous.
And I've been married 9 years now, and just this last fall, we moved from a bungalow in Whitefish Bay on the north side of Milwaukee to it's a 4-story mixed-use grand house. So it was originally constructed as a single-family residence, and now there's commercial on the first floor and second floor. So myself, my wife, and a structural engineer all have businesses on the first floor. We live on the second floor, and then there's a residential tenant on the third floor.
Oh, wow, that's so cool. That is
Isn't
so
it
cool.
though? So
Yes.
I have a great commute.
Oh, that sounds wonderful, right? Few steps and you're in, and your wife is nice and close by too.
Exactly.
So tell us a funny story that your family tells about you that you'd be willing to share.
Okay,
we
well,
all
I'll
have
just go.
stories that maybe we're not willing to share.
I'll go right to a funny one. I remember this photo of myself sitting on the toilet with my pajamas on, with a newspaper upside down, pretending to read. And my dad would, obviously I was emulating my dad, and he would read on the toilet. And I didn't quite have all the mechanics down, but I was still willing to try.
Awesome. So tell us a story about how your business came to be, and at what point did you have the confidence that you could run a business?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I was newly married. I was living downtown in Chicago, and my wife and I bought a house in Woodstock, Illinois, which is straight, if you know the area, it's straight south of Lake Geneva. It's over an hour away from downtown. So I would take the train and then bike downtown to get to work. So it was about an hour and 15 minutes one way to get to work. And newly married, so I've got home responsibilities, the continuing work responsibilities. I was a global industrial design director for a bicycle component company. So I had my fingers in a lot of fires, and it just, frankly, it wore me down. And I realized that I really wanted to be a part of my daughter growing up. And I had a few potential clients that then turned into Solberg Design. And I was brought in. At one point, I was the entire industrial design department for Optimal Design, which is now flourishing. It's a great design company in Chicago. And their industrial design group is, I think, 8 strong, something like that. But at one point, very early on for them, I was the entire industrial design group.
Oh, wow.
And I moved from there. And I also taught the early days of starting Solberg Design. I was teaching core design classes at Columbia College in Chicago.
Mhm.
So I kind of split that up.
Oh, it sounds like a great wealth of experience. And I was just imagining you riding your bike, taking the train, riding your bike to work every day, right? So
It was.
what do you attribute your growth to?
I think the biggest thing that I can attribute growth to is great relationships with clients. That I've had numerous clients now where the contact within one client moves on to somewhere else, and then that they become a client, and I keep the clients behind them as they move. Far and away, I think my greatest strength is also my greatest weakness. That my clients are by and large, they're all connect. It was all word of mouth. That's the
Right.
word I was looking for. Yeah.
Oh, that's fabulous. So if you had to start, like for the business owners who'll be watching this, if you had to start from square one, what would you do differently?
I think this is a great question, and I've been chewing on this one. I think the takeaway I'd like to offer is that I would be more strategic and less opportunistic, a lot less opportunistic. Early on, I took jobs because I needed to. And if I were to have branded myself and had a strength in a particular market or submarket, I could have marketed myself much better and gotten more clients in more clustered clients.
Right. You know what, I think a lot of business owners can relate to what you're saying, right? Especially at the beginning, is we take whatever, whoever's willing to pay us money because you need the money, but then figuring out that, you know what, you have a great business, but you're more niche down, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So what were speaking of owning your own business, you're also an employer. So what have been the biggest learnings as an employer that you've had?
I think do your research on people, clients, and employees, so that you really know who you're working with, both internally and externally. We're a tight-knit group. We're 4 to 6. I should mention, we're largely contract, so we don't have it's not brick and mortar. We don't have 12 people full time. We pull in people as we need, and the Solberg Design evolves based on our clients' needs. So we pull people in, and we have a chance to test drive people and then work with someone else if it doesn't work quite right. And we keep resonating and working with particular people because we've had great experience with them.
Oh, that's awesome, because that you can pull in what you need, and then you're right. I love the idea of test driving them. Right?
Yeah. I forget who it was. Famous quote: "You get the right people on the bus, and then get going."
Right.
And then you figure out what seat they're in. It's more important. The people are more important than they'll find their own roles.
Right. That's awesome. So, part of being a business owner is the effect it has on on a person's personal life. So how do you balance your personal life with the demands of running a business?
That's another really good one, because it's constantly evolving. I'm constantly striving to keep that balance, and especially as I work with entrepreneurs, they don't really work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. They want to call Sunday morning meetings, and they want to call Friday night meetings, and you need to be clear and putting walls up where you need to, but you need to offer the flexibility to add the value that those clients are looking for. So it's one of the things that I can say that's clear, I think, is the notion of delegating and then walking away. So I can delegate to my partner, to one of my designers, and say, I need you to work on this. And then I trust them to do it. And I come back on Monday morning at 8 a.m. and say, well, how'd it go? What do we have? And,
Mhm.
and we figure it out. It's easy to think that you have to do everything yourself, and you don't.
And you absolutely don't. You're absolutely right. And you sort of alluded to it a little bit in the answer to the last question. But what
Hmm.
kind of qualities, speaking of designers and partners, what kind of qualities do you look for, and how do you foster a positive, productive environment?
That's good. I think looking for working with people that are constantly looking to improve themselves is really important. You want someone that wants to be better last month than they were, or
Hmm.
the next month than they were than the last month. And you're keeping a vested interest in them in their growth trajectory. Part of it is staying out of the way, being constructive, not destructive, and letting them do their thing. And in terms of productive work environment and keeping that going, I think of one contract worker that we have right now in particular has kind of a tough schedule personally, and we just work around that schedule. So, Thursday, I know I don't call them. They're busy on Thursdays. And it's not that they're
Hmm.
working on for somebody else, it's that they need that personally.
Right.
And they're worth it. So, we need to adapt to them personally.
Right. That's great. So, you've been running business. So how long, I don't know if we've talked about how long you've had your business. So how long have you had your business?
I've had my business 19 years.
19
So
years.
it's gonna be 20 next year, which just seems amazing.
Isn't it amazing how fast it all goes? So,
Yes.
so after 20 years, what do you think are some common misconceptions about running a business, and how do you address them?
I think the whole notion that, oh, it's easy, oh, it's wonderful, you have your own business, you can do whatever you want to.
Right.
And it's like, no, I do whatever my clients need me to.
Mhm.
And the notion that you must be making a ton of money. You have all these people working for you and you're doing all this great work. Yeah, sometimes you get a couple of clients that are late in paying, and you end up, trying to make payroll, and it's a challenge. It's they call it work for a reason.
Mhm. Exactly.
Yeah.
So tell us, we're going to kind of get down into more of the inspirational things. So tell us a time when someone pushed you or inspired you and helped you think that you could do it, and the impact that had.
I think my biggest fan is my oldest daughter, and sometimes it was a problem when you have a virtual meeting. She has her friend over and they're playing in the background. It's like, and then it becomes this game. They're shitting each other and giggling, but that's a constant reminder to do better and to do more and to grow. It wasn't anyone pushing me, it was somebody pulling me.
Oh, that's a great way to look at that. So what's been your biggest learning as a business owner so far? So far.
I love this quote. Stay humble, stay foolish. It was Steve Jobs gave that out in a commencement speech, I think.
Hmm.
And the notion there is, don't get ahead of yourself. Don't think that you know more than you do. But don't be afraid to be silly. Don't be afraid to sketch outside the lines. As you get older and more experienced, it's easy to get into complacency and feel that, well, the solution is within this box. Well, the solution isn't in that box, and you need to think past that. So,
Yeah, great point. That's a great point. So tell us your biggest challenge during the last 19 years, and a fellow business owner or colleague who helped you through it.
yeah, that's a clear one. 2.5, 3 years ago, I brought on Chevis Watkinson as my partner in Solberg Design, and that is clearly the best thing I've done in 19 years of business. He's been a really good, clear sounding board. He's a really good manager, both of projects and of people. He's empathetic. He's great. So that had a huge impact. Sober design is a lot richer and more adaptive now than it was, 4 years ago, something like that, before Chavez came on.
Great, great. So
Um,
if you had to pick three people in your business owner journey, right, that are you're most grateful for being there for your business growth, who are they?
Well, that's really convenient because I have one wife and two daughters, and I couldn't do this. I definitely couldn't do this without my wife's understanding and her, strength behind me. And she's a business owner as well. She has four people full time for her, so her business entity is a little bigger than mine is. So she's very understanding. So it's super helpful.
Great, great. So what's the next big thing for you in your business? Like as you're thinking about the next 1 to 3 years, number one area of growth or development?
We are going to grow.
Love
I'm
it.
I'm figuring out how, but we can easily work at 1.5x of what we're
Mhm.
currently, and we can stretch to 2 readily. We can add in some, the way that we're structured, adding in some contract folks is not difficult at all. And it would be healthy for Solberg Design to be a little bit bigger anyway.
Mhm.
So we're looking for clients, and I'm
Love it.
working with a couple of folks to sharpen the pencil a little bit there and figure out how to best market ourselves, because we have been word of mouth for years.
Mhm.
And it's difficult to grow it's to see that kind of growth through word of mouth.
Right. And I have to tell you, I loved how you were very to the point about we are going to do this. I love that.
Oh,
That
good.
that confidence and that really we're doing this kind of thing. I love it. So what advice, lastly, do you have for business owners who are trying to do it on their own?
You know, um, be easy on yourself. It's going to be more difficult than you think. As let's say you're going to start an industrial design business, just as I have. It's easy to get down on yourself and to think that this is never going to work. And there were times where things grew and we did really well, and then just natural cycle, a client falls off. They don't have any new products that they're working on, and then all of a sudden you're scrapping for your next job.
Mhm.
So just you got to be okay with that. Got to work through that.
That's great. That's great because I mean, and that is a story. It's the ups and downs of owning a business and all the learnings along the way. So, Kent, thank you so much. I know our audience is going to learn a lot from you today, and hopefully, a couple people will see your interview and want to have a product designed by you.
That would be fantastic.
All
I would
right. Well,
accept
have a
that. Thank.
great day, and thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.